package, and you'll see we have a dual request. We have a request for council to consider a property tax exemption for the new building that Kaye Nickerson has housed on the backyard property of the Yarmouth Lions Club, which was given to us by the Lions Club about 2 years ago. The province funded the capital to put the building there for a years-long unmet need of a modern facility to run our programs in. And again, our programs are for adults with special needs. We're asking the council to consider the property tax exemption in the light of the service that the building provides for the town of Yarmouth. We're providing a non-profit service for clients who have employment barriers. They have special needs and they gain invaluable sense of fulfillment from attending the Kaye Nickerson Center. It really is impossible to give you an idea of how valuable that center is in their lives, not to mention the benefit it gives to guardians and caregivers of these clients, like tenants. So it reaches far beyond the client themselves who attends the center every day. And that property being donated by the Lions Club was a good deed by a Lions Club of Yarmouth. And I have countless volunteers, including this gentleman to my right, who is the chairman of the board, and many hours are spent given to the Kaye Nickerson Center through volunteers, including the efforts of the Lions Club to get the building. Since we're talking about property taxes on the building, that's why I feel obligated to mention the Lions Club. So I'm suggesting that every dollar in a tax on that property is more than paid for through countless hours of volunteerism in this community of Yarmouth. We have wonderful volunteers with the Kaye Nickerson Center, many who have been there for decades and who have really helped get the building there. So now the building is there. It's great. It has addressed some issues with, occupational health and safety issues, which were not addressed for years and years prior to that being in the basement of the Lions Club. So it's great. We have a new building to address those needs. And as I've said, many countless hours of volunteerism that went into that. So there were no property taxes on the backyard of the Lions Club before the Kaye Nickerson building was built there that I'm aware of. Certainly not compatible with the bill of $27,318 on the building that we have now. So we're really pleading to the council to consider the nature of the building, what it's for. The human story is for clients who have special needs. They do fundraising every year. They'll go out and do like a walkathon pledge thing, selling chocolate bars, and that kind of bill for a building really makes it seem like an exorbitant task that's just unreachable, not to mention selling things like pallets and furniture, rough boxes that we do, that the clients have their hands in on making. So I'd like council, and it'd be nice if we could consider the human side of it. And I know numbers and facts are important, but we did not have a revenue source for the town before that new building was erected in 2009. So we're really hoping that we can set some sort of a standard that allows the volunteerism that goes into that kind of a facility for that nature of a service, nonprofit, adults with special needs, that we can reflect through municipal government that we're not going to use it as a main revenue source. Now, if we were a building, a private enterprise, and we had operated a business there, I think that makes good sense to apply a tax situation there. But we're really requesting that the town consider the nature of the organization and, again, the generosity of this community, right from the Lions Club to countless volunteers, past, present, and future, who have been on the board and helping out with the Kaye Nickerson Center on a day-to-day basis. We really need the town's support in looking at it that way to think about an exemption on that level. So rather than seeing the opportunity for monies for the town, we're simply hoping that you lessen our burden as a service provider by that recognition of the human story of the Kaye Nickerson Center, which I think is a really important thing, and it is a valuable service to the town of America, not just in 2009 when the building was erected, but for decades previous, and I'm sure confident decades to come, as long as we can manage the operational increases in that new building. In your package, you'll see that we did have a nice year. There's no doubt about it. The current fiscal year is a good year because we did receive some funding from the province of Nova Scotia for operations, and we also had a partial exemption from council last year. But the point that I need to make is that that paper profit, if you will, for this current March 31st is already spent. It's gone. Where is it gone? It's going back to the government. If you'll see in your package, there's a letter from the minister, and it references the Disabilities Office in Halifax, or Lorna McPherson, who states clearly that any surpluses experienced at the end of the fiscal year will be rolled back, clawed back on the upcoming grant for the current fiscal year that we're talking about. So if we don't get an exemption from the council, we're potentially looking at a very dark year. We really are, because we have it in writing in front of you in your package that the province is going to do a rollback for the monies that we've experienced as a positive this year. And without an exemption for 2011, 2012, coupled with that clawback, I'm a little bit worried about March 31st of 2012 could go up. It could be pretty grim. And if we experience that kind of a pattern, I can't speak for the decades to come, but I can speak for the decades past and present. And again, I really can't emphasize enough how much a gentleman like this man to my right here is providing volunteerism, the true community spirit needed to run a nonprofit like Kaye Nickerson. I've been there for approximately 17 years, and I know the value that goes into that service from volunteers. And I know further to that, the pride that a client gets from walking in that door in the morning and building pallets, building rock boxes, doing something with their hands that they feel so proud of at the end of the day. It's their place in this community where they truly, truly belong and are included in this community. So we're really asking council to consider that side of it, to help us include them in this picture, help us include them in this community by granting a property exemption. It's not necessarily a real dollar value given, it's more an exemption which, as I've said earlier, didn't exist before the building was erected on that property on Waverly Street, which is the backyard of the Lions Club.
Councilor Dan.
Yes, well, thank you for coming, and thank you for the information that you provided for us. And just a question, your property tax last year, was you, how much were you exempt? Was you exempt 50%, 90%, 75%?
It turned out to be about a 70% exemption last year. So this year, again, we're asking for 100% exemption because we're in a different scenario. We do have it in writing in this package from the province of Nova Scotia that any surplus experienced March 31st of 2011, this fiscal year, will be clawed back in our upcoming grant. So we really are in a position we need 100% exemption to continue operating at that building.
It says finance assistant requested. You're asking for that amount plus the property tax? Or is it just, you're asking for two asking?
With your protocol established last year, as I understood it, you're now combining the exemptions request with the nonprofit grant request for that $80,000 pot. So I'm asking it, yes, as per your protocol that was developed last year, as I understood it. So we're asking for $3,000 out of the $80,000 pot of nonprofit money available.
Okay, so 27 plus.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yes.
I'm looking at it, the 30 plus the 27, that's only 3.
Yes, as I understood it, asked to distinguish which amount was for property tax exemption. So yes, 3,000 from the pot of 80,000 is our request.
You're out for 100% plus 3,000.
Plus, we're asking for 100% property tax exemption based on the, I guess,
And plus
You call that
$3,000.
plus 3,000 of the other pot. That is correct. We are asking for that. Yes.
Correct. Thank
Right on. Thank you, Darrell.
you.
Thank you, Doug.
I think it's wonderful that only the province of Nova Scotia could send you a letter saying, we're going to claw back all your money, but have a safe and happy holiday.
We went to,
Yes, that's
if you
right.
saw on the paper on Friday, we went to Halifax, and they're doing $307,000 for the town of Yarmouth next year. They say, well, take out your capital budget, thank you very much.
It's getting tough to run a town.
Yeah.
Got that right.